I want to get married like the Curry, Steph and Aisha shit. But we more like Bailey, Tommy, and Keisha shit. Gave you TLC, you wanna creep and shit. Poured out my whole heart to a piece of shit. Man, I thought you would've learned your lesson. About liking pictures, not returning texts. I get it's fine, man, I get the message. You still stutter after certain questions. You keep in contact with certain exes. Do you though? Trust me, it's cool though. Said that you was working, but you're out here chasing culo and putas, chilling poolside, living two lives. I could've did what you did to me to you a few times. I gave you everything, what's mine is yours.
So good.
I
I'll
want
just do
you
the
to
little
live
improvising
your
in the
life,
back.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I hope you
called
get what
ad-libs.
you dying for. Be careful with me.
Go to the that one guy's
Imagine
comments.
what kind of desperate, broken beta would allow his woman to talk like this.
Ew.
I'm sick.
Imagine what
you
fucking loser
fucking
comments on a
little
post
tool
like
boy.
this.
You bitch. You little fucking bitch. You're a bitch. I'll talk to you like that. Fucking whore.
And he'll probably like it.
Yeah, he probably pays women to degrade him. That
Guys,
fucking
have you
piece
heard of
shit.
pay pigs?
Yeah.
What's that?
We need
I
to
would
be
make
getting one.
bank. I would make fucking bank.
And you should.
What is it?
Men that like love financial dominatrix, basically. So you just are like, you broke little give me $1,000. And
Wait.
they do.
Wait, and
Yes,
they do?
They do.
Oh.
Like they get off on giving you money. It's sick. And I want one.
Okay, let's fucking go. How do we sign up?
I've watched a lot of content on it. I can tell you
Really?
offline. Yeah. In case things don't work out, I have to have a backup plan.
And that's smart.
I'm taking a moment to find.
What
this.
would you say? What would you say to the man? This is what I would say.
Give me your wallet, you stinking filthy.
What?
She goes, start over.
Give me your. You got $50? Hand it here.
Go higher. Go higher,
No.
Summer.
You got 500.
Higher.
You got $5,000.
There you go.
Put it in my hands right now.
You got
You
him.
have to degrade them.
You're
It's like, listen, you balding, broke back. Give me your money, you little
Yeah.
peasant. Get on your knees. Get on your knees.
So financially irresponsible and unsecure. Give me your wallet right now. I'll take $100. I'll take whatever you got in your pocket, whatever you got in your car. Cup holder, give it to me right now.
I think maybe I'll do the voice
yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
It's a work in
You
progress.
just learned about it. It's
We'll
okay.
get some lessons.
Yeah.
I'll give you some lessons. I think you need more rage.
They want to be degraded. They want to like be told they're poor.
Yeah, you need to like rip apart their being. Mm-hmm. Not say, give me your money.
Some of them even like
I'm holding somebody up. Give me your money.
That was like the weakest like hold up robbery ever.
Give me your money.
You're asking for their wallet like you're sitting down to coffee with them. It's all on the internet.
All right.
Venmo me.
Okay.
Yeah, Venmo me,
Zell me.
Okay. All right. I'll work on
you
it.
pathetic weak man.
Pay
Give me
my
your money.
rent, you dumb.
Yeah, make him feel small.
Yeah. Some of them even like it when you have a partner because you're like,
Yeah.
I'm spending your money on my boyfriend.
And
Here's
then they pay you?
$1,000.
Why aren't we doing this?
Clearly, Sheyda and I have experience.
You guys take over the pod episode. I'm going to work on this right now.
Welcome back to the And Also podcast with your hosts, me, Summer Edeen, Sheyda Fassari, and Madeline Guinee. So grab a drink and get cozy. You have now entered the group chat.
Hello and welcome back to episode 13 of the And Also podcast with your hosts, Summer, Sheyda, and Madeline. We are so happy to have you here. And today we've got a freaking spicy episode.
Also, look at these little things we got. Dugan, our producer, Miss Erin Dugan, she ordered us our cute little cards that we put all our notes on now so that we're not staring at our phones. So unprofessional.
Thank you,
And they're the cutest things in the world. We're in love with them. Thank you, Dugan.
Thank you, Dugan. We've got a lot to discuss today, but honestly, I don't know if you guys are like, do you guys just want to jump right into it?
Let's get into the meat and potatoes.
The meat and potatoes, of the post.
Of the post.
So we run our socials, our Instagram and our TikTok, and we take turns creating posts. And Summer created this post that was very funny, and it was 2 clips of me. The first being a clip from the pod, and I was talking about like trust in relationships and how I find it very odd that like some people find the phone to be like this sacred private space when you literally have intercourse with them. And I was like kind of speaking in the royal we. I was speaking as myself, but it was kind of about everybody. And I said, you know, if you can be in me, I can be in your phone. Like, what are we talking about? Like, it's so weird that this is this private space when it's your access to the whole world and you're able to do so many things on it. So anyways, and she branded it and she said how she speaks to men, and then it clipped to me talking to my dog, and I was baby talking my dog, and I was carrying her down the stairs and basically treating her like a princess. And I was like, versus how she talks to her dog. And
it went absolutely viral.
It went viral, and for the most part, people found jest in it, and women loved it. And a lot of men found jest in it, but then there was like this subgenre of very angry men who, I mean, just tried to tear me apart. Talked about my age, talked about my body, just slung insults. I mean, they were just slinging mud in the comments, which I don't care about at all. I'm used to it at this point. I've been living a public life for years, so it doesn't really bother me trying to make music and putting myself out there a lot. But it was a very interesting moment because we had been talking about having a podcast for a while about just the idea of what makes a woman difficult. And so we're going to do that today, but I thought I'd read you some of these mean tweets that I was getting.
I love this. Give it to us. Do you have them ready?
I have some of them. I have some of them ready, yes. My mom woke me up at 7 a.m. She was FaceTiming me and she goes, I can't handle this. The screenshots she sent me that morning was a man saying, what did he say? Oh, he said, this woman sounds like a problem. God save whoever married this bitch. This other man who just has photos of his face on his Instagram, really not an attractive man, just says, shut up, bitch. Shut up. Maybe you'll get a man because she's a misogynistic. We'll have to bleep that. Someone said, this is peak toxic femininity. If you're proud of weaponizing access and entitlement, you're not empowered. You're just exhausting. That mindset is gross. I'm gross. People gotta stop giving hood rats the time and place. I would love to be a hood rat.
There was one man who legitimately was going off, like comment after comment. He probably spent half his day replying to comments. His original comment said, I mean, she is right, but she's also in her 40s and isn't married, so probably not the greatest role model for other women. And Sheyda obviously clapped back, which was so entertaining. Like, she literally sent us like screenshots and was like, can I respond to these? And we were like, go for their throats, like absolutely dive in. And it was so entertaining to watch them probably not expect to get a response and then just want to like eat her alive in these comments.
And they didn't.
They did not. It was so entertaining.
And also so many cute women came to my defense too. They were ripping him to shreds. This other guy said, why is it always the subpar women that proclaim they are special?
Subpar where?
Now, also, this man has no posts of himself. So I responded, I said, post a photo of yourself or stay in your mom's basement. He's yet to reply. I'm checking in hourly.
We should respond back, and we're still waiting.
And then another man said, imagine what kind of desperate, broken beta would allow his woman to talk like this. You just,
It goes on.
It goes on.
The video has 1.2 million views as we're making this video.
Just on TikTok.
Hundreds of comments.
And then we reposted just the sound and just the first clip, and that has over 1 million views.
Over 1 million. It has more now than the original video.
That's not even what's on Instagram. But only, and this is, we can go back and forth about this all day because I feel like people are so sensitive about the term alpha man or beta man or whatever it is. Alpha men live for their person. Like, they are caretakers. They adore their woman. Like, a man who is not bothered is an alpha man. a man who's sitting here with no photos posted, commenting at me.
In the comment section, arguing with women online about Sheyda's video. It's so embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing. But
We've said this a lot. You can tell when a man loves women. And the people that are in these comments, in this comment section, they don't love women.
They don't know how to speak with women. They don't like women. They don't understand women. And it has nothing to do with size or like, it has nothing to do with anything other than attitude. Yeah. You can tell when a man loves women. And that is the biggest turn on about a man. 100%. But all that to say, we've already been talking about the idea of difficult women. And I think it's 100% been something that I've been branded on again, off again in my life. And I think you both, I think me maybe the most.
On again, off again, like got me. Sometimes she is, sometimes she's not.
Well, I think anyone who knows me knows I'm not a difficult person.
Sheyda, my family thinks Nick deserves a fucking Nobel Peace Prize for being with me because they think I'm so insane. Like, they think he walks on water because he's so patient with me, and they're just like, we don't get how you do this. We've dealt with her for so long, and like, good for you.
What the fuck?
Like, literally, they think I'm crazy. And I am, for sure. I feel like I'm crazier with my family than I am with anyone outside.
You are a little psycho with your family, but you've also you've disclaimed that, like, from the moment we met. You were like,
that's true.
Hey, I know I seem pretty normal right now. I just want to know if you get my mom in this room or any person I'm blood related to, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, that is not me. But it's been so validating that Nick is like, I see it. Like, they antagonize you, and it is sport for them. And unfortunately, like, you are their prey. But then they like Uno reverse it onto you, and you become the crazy one. Which I'm like, okay, that's fair. At least as long as I'm like aware of it.
That first of all, that's hot that he recognizes that.
Sexy.
Sexy.
He loves women, and he loves me.
Nick does love women.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
My face is like the face. I can use my face to get into his phone. That was like immediate.
Which, like, by the way, when I said that, just to clarify before we get into this episode, like, everybody has my passcode. I hide nothing from anybody. I am an open book person. So when I speak about this in terms of my significant other, I expect an open book person because that is what I give them in return. So for me to ask for there to be an open book policy in a relationship, I don't think is outlandish. And yes, when we're out here and we're being silly, goofy, crazy, like, I will speak in terms of extremes, and I'm going to exaggerate the statement and whatever. But to be clear, world, I stand by what the fuck I said. Okay? And I am difficult. I'm difficult and I'm wonderful. And you're lucky to be in my presence. And all you little beta males can lick me. Anywho.
I need to shout out Chris. And I feel a little weird reading this out loud with Toby and Sam sitting right here, but I'm going to do it anyway. Chris had a very supportive comment. I don't know if you saw it.
Her dad?
No. Oh, no, not your dad.
Oh, my God.
The entire time we're talking, I'm singing this beginning of my phone. Chris was in the comments, my dad?
What?
I can't. I'm so sorry about that mix up. No, it wasn't your dad. This Chris said, if I'm hitting your cervix, you can peep my service.
Wow.
His phone service.
That's poetic.
Yeah,
so poetic.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I don't think I quite caught what you just said to me.
Well, you're just the dad thing probably threw you off, and rightfully so. If I'm hitting your cervix, you can peep my service.
And you know what? I respect that man.
Me too.
Yeah.
A lot.
Respect that man.
And that's all she was trying to say.
Yeah.
That's all she was trying to say.
There was a little angry girl in the comments, Amanda, and she is my enemy. And she was like, why are you trying to trade access for intimacy?
Yeah.
And you know what, Amanda? You also can lick me, because that's clearly not what I was saying. And if you want to make it some dramatic thing where I'm trading my body, or anyone is trading their body for access to someone's phone, go take a hike. Go touch
You've
some
completely
grass.
missed the point.
You've completely mixed the point.
So
On
many
purpose,
people,
actually.
Literally, so many people miss
on
the point.
purpose. What I'm saying is there should be trust in relationships.
You're not giving anything that you're not expecting anything that you're not also giving. Your phone is an open book. you expect their phone to also be an open book. And it's fucking weird when guys are weird about their phones.
Yeah,
It's
because
weird
you're
when it's
hiding
this,
something.
this, and they don't want you to even
And
know
that's
where it
weird
fucking
for,
is.
By the way, it's weird for women. I'm not saying women get to hide their phones. I'm saying there should be trust and vulnerability in a fucking relationship. And if you're going to be weird about it, you're probably hiding something or doing something you shouldn't be doing.
Yes, sketchball.
Yeah.
Yes, sketchball. So come for me all day in the comments. I don't care. I have a thick skin. Lick me.
Lick her. All right, guys, what are we talking about today? We are talking about difficult women.
The
So
difficult woman archetype, which
What-
I want to talk about that. Like, what does that even mean to
yeah,
anybody?
what is a difficult woman? I would say it's somebody that's has those boundaries,
Yeah, has strong boundaries, is opinionated.
is assertive, isn't afraid to speak her mind.
I think usually success is intertwined with someone who is branded as difficult, and that's usually because she has those personality traits where
Yeah.
she is strong in who she is as a woman and as a person, and that unfortunately is intimidating for the rest of the world because you oftentimes find women who are, often women are raised to be subdued or be quiet
Or to compromise, or to be peacekeepers, or pivot, or whatever it is. Fit in where they can fit.
I think a great example, and I really hope this is not what you're going to bring up, but Martha Stewart, I watched her documentary,
Yep,
and
I've
it was
seen it.
so interesting, like how many people gave her shit. They were like, she's such a bitch, but like there was nothing actually bitchy about her. She was just acting exactly how a man would act in a, like running a very successful business, and people could not digest that it was coming from a woman.
She was clear about what she wanted and how she wanted it done, and she didn't put fluff around her
Yeah.
words. She didn't mince her words. She said, "This is what I want, and this is how I want it done." And people were like, "Oh, she's a fucking bitch."
She's like said, "You're a fucking idiot if you would use that knife to cut a goddamn tomato, you imbecile. Get the other one, like I said, and do it right."
But here's the thing: you're speaking like a man. My father would talk that way to me and my brother growing up, and I never thought anything of it. I thought it was just dad being dad. And I saw other dads treat their kids that way too, where they're like, "I'm teaching you something, you idiot. Listen to what I'm saying." And before there was this completely soft awakening in the world where you had to say please and thank you and you couldn't be firm with anybody. That was just like how the business world worked. You were expected to do things a certain way, and if you didn't do it, you got your ass chewed. And it's so interesting that when women were kind of pushed into the labor force and we adopted these things, we were called not assertive, but we were called difficult,
Bitchy.
bitchy, controlling, nasty, rude. That word.
Hard,
Yeah, like
not palatable.
masculine, which okay,
Brooding.
You put me here, and in order to survive, in order to fight my way up the ladder like everyone else is doing, I also have to adopt assertiveness. I also have to adopt an opinion. I also have to stand strong in who I am and what I believe. And I can't sit here and cook for you and clean for you and wait for you to come home, because here I am next to you at the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting to me that but
No, it's
Martha
true.
Stewart was like the original bitch.
Boss
They
bitch.
did not like her. But it was like, you can't, if you want to be a woman, you have to do things with a woman's touch. You have to do
Which
things,
doesn't get you anywhere.
it doesn't get you anywhere.
Because if we're going to be in the workforce, we're going to do it well.
I think maybe the only woman who's gotten away with doing it with a woman's touch is Dolly Parton. But Dolly Parton is a wordsmith who would just
She's also Southern.
She would Southern and mind fuck her way around men. She would just word spin them into a tizzy.
And she's got the titties
distract
to do
them
it.
with her hot
yeah.
look.
The
And
titties.
she knew what she was doing. She talks about it.
She leaned into it.
She leaned into it.
She was in on the joke always. She just let things roll off her because she was like, "I know more than you. I'm not an idiot, and you think I'm an idiot, but I'm not going to let you know that I'm actually the smartest person in this room."
Yeah, she played them
Yeah.
left, right, and center. But like, I think where we get upset as women is we don't want to play that game. And if you're telling us that the only way that we can move forward is to make you feel big and strong as a man and is to stroke your ego all day long, I don't have time for that. I want to get this thing done. I have this idea. I have this truth. I have this job. I have this whatever, and I want to do it. And it's okay for a man to do, but not a woman.
I have some thoughts.
Share your thoughts.
Give it to us.
I think we talk a lot about the role that men and women play. And I saw something recently that said a woman cannot be the assertive boss, XYZ, and then also be the soft, loving partner that is in her feminine. It's like you either lean into your masculine or you lean into your feminine. And honestly, we used to live together. When I first got into real estate, we got into a little tiff because I was like so focused on my career. Everything that I was doing from the moment the sun rose to the moment the sun set was focused on working. And I have never felt less feminine. I was literally work. It was the only thing that I could think about was that. And I did feel a lot of that masculine energy. And we had a little thing and you were like
Summer in her work mode, like it is a switch of a flip or a flip of a switch. She's a different person and she's so intense and like to the point that you wouldn't even recognize her if you knew her personally. Like that's how serious she gets.
It would probably be considered like, I would probably be considered a bitch, like cold, like literally just like on the phone, like, what do you need? Like, are you okay? Okay, I'm done. Okay, great. I'm back to it. Like it would probably be that.
And I'm like, what are you having for lunch?
And
Me too.
I will probably, and I don't know that I agree with that you can't do both because I think and a lot of people can be a little bit of both. But I do think that when you are so focused on a goal, it is really hard to be calm and relaxed and peaceful. And so I do think that there is something to say about, can you be this boss, assertive, masculine energy, go-getter, XYZ, and also balance being feminine and light and at peace and calm? Because we've talked about this. Sometimes we're looking for the man to allow us to be that. You guys have thoughts on that?
I think you can be both things.
I think you can be both things with a really good partner. Like that can support you in that way. I think it is kind of hard to do it on your own and to balance the two, because when you're doing it on your own, you're supporting yourself financially.
Right. And
I think that to me, or at least before, was like a really big of like, I'm on my own. I'm putting my neck out here. I want to be successful. And I know that I am like chasing this dream of whatever my goal is. And I want to hit that. And if I don't, 0 to 100, I'm going to be poor and homeless, which was never on the table, but that's where my mind goes. And so I think for a long time, like that was the state I was living in of like, I want to hustle. And it does take, I think, someone taking some of that off, like that pressure off of you to be able to like kind of fall back into being a little more feminine. Like I feel like I've never been more fucking emotional than when I'm with Nick, and like have been able to lean into like, I don't need to like worry about this as much, or like I don't need to feel like I have to be like that all the time. Like I can let my guard down or like turn it off a little bit, and not in a bad way, but in a way that like I have a partner that will support me in both lanes.
What I will say is I think it is impossible to settle completely in your feminine if you have a life where you have to be this masculine leading person. I think when you look at someone who gets to be a stay-at-home mom and gets to spend her day caring for her children and being in her home space and cultivating and creating little minds of her children, and like that's, I think that it's, I think it's nearly impossible to do that when you have a 9 to 5. I do think that with the right partner, you are able to give up and give into your feminine and be that when he is there to take the reins. And I think that really says something about, choosing the right partner. That is like, I adore you. I love you. I know you can handle it, but I'm still going to do it for you anyways. That is wonderful. And that is what I look for in a partner. And I think that it can be intimidating for men sometimes when you come from a place, because here's the thing. When I'm around my dad, when I'm around my brother, like I know they handle everything. Like I told my little brother I wanted to get a different car, and he sent me all the links to all these cars, and I trust him implicitly. Like I know he's handling this thing for me. When I come home, they're carrying my luggage in the door. They're handling all these things for me. Like I know that I trust my father and my brother implicitly to handle these things. There are men in my life that I get around and I'm like, they got it. I don't need to protect myself. I don't need to speak to anybody. I don't need to handle anything. They have it. When I go to dinner with my father, I don't order dinner. He ordered, like, I don't even look at the menu. And if I do, I just whisper to him, I go, can you just make sure this also makes it to the table? And he handles it. And like, that's wonderful. That's so wonderful. But can I drive a 6-wheel fucking vehicle and pull a trailer and wrangle a horse and change my own oil and change a tire? Yeah, I fucking can. So when I come upon another man, or not, I'm not a man, but when I come upon a man, I'm like, you better be able to do all the things I can do and do them as good as or better than me. And then when I figure out that you can do those things, I will shut my whole brain off. But to be labeled as a difficult woman because I expect something out of a partner or a male counterpart or everybody in the room, be them male, female, or otherwise, is wild.
I think those standards or expectations to the wrong person are considered difficult because it like triggers something inside of them of like, I can't meet that.
Yeah.
So it's not me, it's her. She's crazy. She's asking for too much because that's ridiculous. But it's because they, in their own mind, think they can't meet it.
Right.
Like I would much rather have a guy say, I might not be there right now, but I sure as hell know that I can get there one day, or like I'll meet whatever I can.
Attractive.
Right. It's so attractive. Like literally to be able to just, like you said, turn your brain off and be like, okay.
Yeah.
Nothing in my purse but lipstick.
Like I don't need you to know how to do everything, but if you look at me and go, I got the wherewithal to figure it out and I will, I go, okay. Do it.
I also think it's hot when they know that you can do it.
Yes.
Like that to me is like such a pivotal thing of like respect, where they know you can do it on your own, but they're still offering to do it, or like still taking care of it, but like respecting. And I think that's where that kind of balance between feminine and masculine energy comes in, of like, your masculine energy kind of keeps them in check a little bit, because they're like, I don't want to say afraid, but like, I would say respect is more the word I'm going for.
I think most men have a healthy fear of women.
Of their partner. I would say of their partner.
Yeah.
But I mean, they just know that, you know,
don't fuck around.
I saw this very funny TikTok video of, it was a bunch of like gathered clips of women who had like a fake knife and the knife retracted when you stabbed. And every man fully believed they were stabbed. I mean, like lost their mind. And it was these girlfriends who all just went and stabbed their like husband, boyfriend, whatever it was. And they fully believed they had been stabbed. And that to me, I'm like, you know, we're not all together there.
Yeah.
You know that if the wrong thing happened, we have it in us to fully attempt murder, which I think is good for men to feel, because they are so much bigger than us. At the end of the day, they could kill us, but they know we're crazy enough to also figure out how to kill them.
Yes.
Which is
and get away with it.
Yeah. An important balance between the sexes.
I threaten Nick all the time. I'm like, if I murdered you, no one would know.
I tell my father all the time that people go missing every day.
Yeah.
How would you kill him?
I can't tell you. I'll tell you offline.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, all that to say, there are difficult women. There are difficult women.
Yes.
There is such a thing as being difficult, and I'll take responsibility for the female sex. I mean, for example, you know, I obviously don't know Meghan Markle personally. The things I've heard about her, if they're true, that's a difficult woman. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's a difficult woman.
Who else is difficult? Like, I feel like we hear stories about people that are like, quote unquote, difficult.
Like Martha Stewart, assertive. Meghan Markle, if true, difficult.
Yeah, who else am I thinking
Who
of? I feel
else
like
could
there's,
be
like, a
difficult?
Really good one.
Wait, but didn't you have a story to tell about a difficult woman?
I'm talking about celebrities. You're such a pop culture person who's difficult.
My thought, I wouldn't say this person maybe is actually difficult, but when we were talking about that was the Martha Stewart and like Alex Cooper. I feel like there's always rumors about how Alex Cooper is really difficult to work with. And
do you think she's actually difficult?
I don't know. I don't know, but I could see just people perceiving her in like that. I'm running a fucking business and I'm taking it seriously. And the way that you're perceiving me running my multi-million-dollar company is difficult. And that's a you problem.
When someone says difficult to me, like when someone says, oh, that she's difficult to work with, I expect there to be like, she's nasty, she's cruel, she's demeaning in the way she treats others. Like to me, a difficult person would be an Ellen DeGeneres. If all the stuff
my God, that is
they
such a good
say
example.
about her is true, where she is actually a vile human being.
Yes.
Right? Like that's a nasty, difficult person.
And it's so interesting because her persona to like the public
To be
is
the kind
so,
person.
yeah, like be kind.
But I also love all the videos going back and kind of reanalyzing some of the things that she said or did, or she would ask her guests questions that they kind of specifically said like, hey, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
And then she like put them in the hot seat, or like she would like bring stuff up
On daytime television.
But like, again, her persona was so like, ha ha ha, like nobody really thought anything of it.
Now, would we think that Oprah is difficult or assertive?
I don't really know.
think
I feel like
assertive.
Oprah might
I don't
be
know
a
much
little.
about
Yeah,
her.
I was gonna say. I feel
Assertive,
like
probably?
Oprah is a little.
Yeah, I don't know enough about
I was
her
like
either.
a kid with Oprah.
Okay, other things I've heard about, like J-Lo. I've heard J-Lo has been difficult.
I've heard J-Lo's difficult.
Yeah, I've heard
and
J-Lo's
And when I
difficult.
say difficult, I mean mean, nasty, cruel, rude.
And I unfortunately feel like that comes
Unkind.
from most of the difficult women to deal with comes from such a place of insecurity, in the sense that it's like, I have to tear somebody else down. I have to be cruel, and or like their insecurities get the best of them and it comes out in such a nasty way.
Yeah.
And I think that is the root of most difficult women, even when they're dealing with men. It's like they're being difficult because they want to get in the phone, because they know something, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I do think insecurities can like fester into becoming a difficult person.
Well, even in this, the post on TikTok, like I was talking about it with one of my guy friends, and he was like, oh, so you sleep with someone one time and you want to get in their phone? This is something that some men do. I won't say all men because I don't know every man on the planet, but have you ever had a conversation with a man and let's say you're having a text dispute, right? And you write out like a 3-paragraph response where you're like, this is how I feel about this certain thing because of these things that happened. This is how I feel about this thing that happened because of these certain things. And they take this 3-paragraph response that you gave them, and they take 4 words from the 3 paragraphs and go, oh, were you just calling me fat because of these 3 words that you just said? And you're like, you didn't even
read what I wrote. You
didn't read what I wrote.
literally.
In fact, you are weaponizing incompetence right now, and you're pretending to not understand anything that I sent you, and you don't want to lose an argument, so you're going to grip onto the one thing that you perceived as your way to get forward in this situation without admitting any wrongdoing.
That's the most frustrating thing, is a response to one thing, one question. I could ask like 5 questions and then I'm getting a response to one of the things. Fuck you.
Yeah. It's infuriating.
It's infuriating, but it's another way that they make you feel like you're difficult. It's like, I can't read all that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're too emotional, you're too wordy, you're too long, didn't read. It's like, oh, sorry, I thought we were maybe in a relationship or talking, and that was what we were supposed to do. This is talking back and forth. I'm
This is called
texting you.
communication.
Yeah, this is communication. I am communicating with you. You're obviously terrible at it.
But again, I think it comes down to same thing for men and women. They're responding from a place of being insecure. Their insecurities of whatever you're calling them out on that they know they're not able to meet. They're like, well, let me ignore all the facts she just hit me with, and I will respond to the one thing that I can maybe conjure up a response to. But they go 0 to 100. It's like, obviously I'm not trying to like log on to a guy I just hooked up with's phone. Like, that's not even what that is not even close to the point I was trying to make. You
close.
just
And
ran right past
you are
it.
purposely.
Yes.
You are purposefully weaponizing your ignorance.
Yeah.
Which is so upsetting. It's I can't even comprehend the rage I feel when that happens. And it can be women too. I think that we often dub men as the people we're angry at in this moment because that's who we often are dealing with. But I mean, women do it as well. But I my patience for it in my now 30s, soon to be one day 40s, as what was his name? What was his handle?
Oh.
The man on TikTok who kept
I
calling
feel like it
it
started with like a B.
a bitter
I'm all
woman in my 40s.
all up in here.
Beto. It's probably beta male.
I'll find
beta male.
Oh, that's what I said to him. I said,
I'll find it.
by the way, my response, it was iconic.
Well, he wants attention. Let's not give.
Yeah,
We're not going to give it to him, but my response to him was so fun because I was like, this isn't what an alpha male does, fights with women in comments. This is what's called a tantrum, in case you were confused.
I just think this is so like specific to what you just said, but if I, again, logged onto my boyfriend's phone because I have the password and found him commenting mean things on a girl's post.
Oh my God.
That would make my ovaries literally burn up and fall out of my body because what the fuck are you doing?
Well, that's insecurity.
But it's so embarrassing.
But he would never do that, and you would never be with a guy like that.
No. Oh my
And
God,
actually,
no.
I don't think any men that are like in happy relationships would ever do that because those men obviously hate women.
Yeah.
Let's not, like, no man, no sound of mind man is all up on TikTok writing, "You're a beta female in your 40s,
Yeah.
you dumb bitch." Like, no.
Yeah.
No.
That's a
I
single
felt-
No
man.
profile
I
picture.
actually felt really bad. Some of the women in the comments were like, my husband won't let me go through their phone. My husband doesn't allow me to do this. And I was like, that is my worst nightmare. And sure, I would love to be in a relationship. I'm ready for marriage tomorrow if the right person were to come into my space. But I would rather be alone than lonely with somebody else. I love my life. I love my family. I love my friends. Do I want to share it with someone else? Yes. But I don't want to share it with someone who's going to make me feel small.
Or hide his fucking phone.
Yeah. And the
No.
interesting thing is like, I do have Nick's login. I'm
But
never in the
also,
phone.
like, I'm
never in the phone because I know nothing is going on. It's there if I ever felt the need to go through it, but I never
That's
do.
the interesting. Like
they
I know I'm
think
dubbed the Looney Tune. I've only gone through phones twice in any relationship ever, and the first time was because I caught my boyfriend of a year lying to me for the third time. Turns out he was a cheater. And the time before that was in a different relationship because I got a "Hey girly" message on Facebook.
not the hey girly.
Andy. And I was like, let me see the phone. You fucking weirdo.
It's almost not even about going through the phone. It's just their willingness to
give you
be
the
open
It
phone.
just shows they have nothing to hide.
100%.
You know what I mean? And that's the whole point of the argument is like, you should be willing to give me your phone because like I don't even have a password on my fucking phone. There's nothing to hide in that thing. I hope no one steals it, but like there's not even a password on it. I'm not keeping anything in there that's sneaky. And I know that Nick isn't either. And so I feel no need to go through
That's
it.
my thing is and maybe that's the brutal honest piece of me. I'm like, there's nothing about me that everyone knows my passwords to everything. Maybe
We have your freaking credit card, your social security
Social
number.
Security, yeah.
maybe
Chris
I-
actually sent me the birth certificate.
Maybe I need to reel in some things. But that's why I have such a problem with someone who hides things. Our old told me if you go through a phone, you're going to find something you don't like. And I was like,
That's not true.
no, that's not true. That means you're doing something you shouldn't be.
That makes me so uncomfortable.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Did y'all see this stuff about like there's this thing that went around? Like I've gone through a phone once and it was to confirm something I already thought was true and I was right. But it's like the whole thing about if you go through the phone and you find it, you're not the original sin. It was what you found. And it always gets turned to well, you don't trust you're going through my phone.
Yeah,
it's like,
you
well, the
going-
sin's already been committed and it was by you.
Yeah.
You going through the phone. And honestly, I feel like if your partner if you're going to your partner and saying, I'm feeling insecure right now, I need some validation, or I just want to like know that everything's good, and they turn it on you and say you're insecure. That's not a fucking partner.
No, it should be a like, what can I do to make you feel better? Here is my phone.
Here you go. Let's go through it together.
What do you need to make you feel better?
100%.
Do you guys remember a period in your life where you were afraid to be the difficult woman or afraid to be that girl that was like,
Yes, because I feel like we've talked about this before, but like there was a period I feel like in just like social norms where the pressure of being the girl that doesn't care was so like phenomenalized. I don't know if that's a word, but like you like people, it was
so
like
glorified?
Yeah, like you didn't want to be the one that cared. You didn't want to be the one that caused a stink, that like cared more or anything like that.
It was cool girl trope.
Cool girl trope, 1,000%.
And I think that's a thing that young girls go through.
Exactly.
100%.
It's a rite of passage,
It's
actually.
a rite of passage. And I think boys go through that as well, where they like don't want to show that they have feelings or anything. But I think, especially in enduring like the beginning stages of a relationship or beginning stages of friendships or anything, you don't want to be the loudmouth, like you know what I mean? Like it's so interesting because I think today now I just don't care and I just am what I am.
But I think that comes from like your brain developing.
And I think you realizing that hopefully you come to a point in your life where you realize either my people are my people or the people in my area are not my people. And like I can't change who I am or the way I respond or the way I think, and I should just be that in my utmost, in the pure essence of who I am, and let the chips fall where they may, because like we say time and again, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and that goes for romantic relationships as well as platonic ones and everything in between. And you cannot change who you are. It'll come out eventually.
Do you guys have specific examples of when you had to tone it down or you felt like you needed to?
In my relationship with, we'll have to bleep this, I think I let him do anything he wanted for 3 years on and off. I did not require anything of him. I did not open my mouth. I did not have an opinion. Like I just was quietly hoping that if I let him walk all over me, he would love me one day. And obviously that's not the case, and it wouldn't be. Like no one, I don't think anyone can fall in love with that anyways. But I think when you're in such a dark place or a desperate space, you will let yourself believe that. Especially if you've grown up thinking of yourself as being difficult or being assertive or being loud.
Is that something you did? Like, did you guys grow up, like your family told you that you were difficult?
I've been difficult.
So was that something you heard growing up?
Yeah, for sure.
And you too?
You know, and I love my mom, and she doesn't remember ever doing this or saying this to me. Do not come for my mom, by the way. She's my best friend. But when I broke up with my first serious boyfriend, Andy, and I basically was like, I'm moving to Tennessee. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I got to go. And he's not the person for me. And this, that, and the other. Like within the week of me breaking up with him, she looked at me and she was like, what if you don't find better? Like, what if you, and you know, my mom was never really, she never really was single. Like from the age of like 15 on, I don't think that she was really a single woman. Always hardworking. You know, she was a breadwinner when I was growing up, predominantly until my father came into his own and left the military. But she, I think, always had, you know, she went from a relationship to a relationship, and I think maybe she was just scared for me. And she didn't communicate that well. And I don't think she wanted me to leave. You know, she never left California where she was born and raised. And Anthony my brother tried to leave, but he ended up, you know, always coming back home. And I don't think she knew how to handle that. I was like, I'm done with this boy. I don't need a boy. And I'm done with this state. And I'm going to move across the country and be free.
And you know what? And to give her some grace here too, I also think like generationally, like, you just, again, it goes back to you just got married young back in the day.
Yeah, she had me when she was 24.
And you just like were with some, and granted, a lot of those people are divorced now. You know what I mean? It's like
you just chose a guy and that you were in lust with, and you thought it was love, and you hope it worked out.
Wait, Summer, do you think that because I feel like I remember in college thinking Summer was like the epitome of the cool girl, couldn't care less. Like
100% she was.
Every guy wanted Summer in college.
100%.
She was so hot, still hot.
Still hot.
Original
Still
girl,
a sex pot.
original girl crush. But
white hair, blonde girl.
Yeah. But like she just like exuded this like confidence, like didn't care, like a guy wanted her or they didn't, and like she could care less if it bothered her. And I think sometimes it's come up in our friendship where she'll say something and be like, that actually bothered me, or like that didn't make me feel good. I'm like, I didn't even think about it because in my mind, like you are so confident, like I can't even imagine something hurting your feelings or like bothering you. But like, has there been a time where you've kind of been deemed difficult? Because I feel like you are very easygoing, and I don't know.
So I don't think I was called difficult growing up. Like that's not part of my like fabric of what I feel like I am. But I have other things. So it's not necessarily the difficult thing that I think comes up in my life. But I do remember trying to be cool girl and feeling like I just wanted to make peace. I just wanted to be agreeable. And I still struggle with that in a way. Like even now there are things that like people will say, and I don't necessarily jump in and say, no, I don't agree with that. I'll just kind of, interesting.
Log that in the back.
Literally, it's more like I'm going to let you say what you say and think how you think. It's not how I think. And I'm just going to listen type thing. Because for me, I think sometimes for me, I don't feel like it's worth it to like cause a stink or like to say my opinion, if that makes sense. And maybe that is part of me feeling like I need to
be agreeable.
Be agreeable.
Yeah.
But I don't think like the difficult label is something that's part of my story. I don't think that's I would attribute that to. But I will say, I do remember in relationships, like I do remember in college wanting to be cool. And there was like certain instances of like being with certain guys that I just wanted to be so chill because I was like, if I was chill enough, they would definitely want to date me. We're not just hooking up. If I'm just cool enough and just chill enough, they're definitely going to want to date me. And that's not the case.
No.
It's actually the opposite.
Could not agree more.
It's giving men the boundaries and the standards of what you feel like you deserve is actually what shows you who is worthy and who steps up to the plate. It's not the opposite way. Having no boundaries, having no standards does not win you the guy, does not win you the great relationship. It's the
it doesn't win you the career. It doesn't win you the life.
Opposite. You need to, and this is speaking to women, men, you need to set standards for your life. You need to set boundaries for your life. You need to have these requirements for your life and then not fucking bend on any of them.
And that goes for family, friends, relationships, business. There needs to be a requirement to be in your space.
Yeah.
At all costs. If someone can't rise to that thing, you creating exceptions and bringing yourself into a space that makes you uncomfortable, unhappy, unheard, it doesn't help who you are. It doesn't make you happier. It doesn't make you better. It doesn't make you more successful. It often doesn't create a better relationship, be it familial, platonic, romantic, or otherwise. It doesn't help.
Yeah.
And I think that's a hard lesson that everyone has to learn.
Yeah. 1,000%. I feel like the more, and I've learned very much from the both of you and my therapist, the more you can communicate, like truly, I think, and Summer's talked about this before, like when you can get through a hard time with either a friend or a significant other or your family member, like you come out the other side stronger because you're like, oh my God, I can go through so much more with this person. Like we can experience more heartache. We can experience more anger. Like obviously I hope we have no anger, but you know what I mean? Like those emotions and it's almost like building a tolerance for it with your person or like with your friends in your life of, I need to be able to have the strength to like be able to do this, and having people around that you can do that with.
Yeah. And having people that meet you there that are willing to go through those hard things and come out the other side. Because expanding on that, like, okay, in relationships, when you go through something tough in relationships, like a romantic relationship, I guess friendships too, when you go through something really hard you go to like the bottom of the well, it's really tough. But when you come back up and you're both willing to work, and you only come back up if you are both willing to work, you realize just how low and deep you can go. I mean, you know, my parents went through grief of losing a child. It's like you don't
Which is hard.
It's hard, and like statistically you divorce, and statistically you blame, and all these things, and it's like, but when you come back up from that, you know that the person that is by your side is with you through everything, is with you through the depths of hell, and you can come back up. And I think that's with friendships. That's why like going through hard things with your friends, maybe not like with each other, but like your friend is going through something and your friends are fucking with you there. Your friend was with you when you were at the bottom of the fucking well, and then it's so much better when you can come back up top and say like they were there. You get to experience so much more emotions and like life experience.
Well, you get to so much more depth in relationships.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. Is like for me, I think I'm always worried. Like I'm crazy with my family because I know they can't get rid of me. Like realistically they could, but they can't. Like
that's relatable though. Like I think that's
for sure.
Like you test your family more than you test anybody, because you're like we've never been in a fucking physical altercation, but like I'll fucking elbow slam my little brother if I have to. Exactly.
But like I think a lot of times, especially with romantic partners and even friends, like you don't know how far you can push your friends or your partner, and you don't want to push them away. And so kind of that agreeableness comes in, like, I don't know if this is like worth bringing up because I don't want to like lose them over it. Now we've been friends for a decade, so I think it would take a lot, I think, for us to be like no longer friends. But in the beginning of any kind of relationship, you do have that like, I don't want to cause a stink and lose what I have. And that's where the fear of like being cool and like letting everything just brush off your shoulder, because you're like, I'd rather suffer and keep what I have than bring something up, set a boundary, and see if this person is willing to stick around. And I truly think that comes from maturity and being like, fuck, if this person doesn't stick around, then good riddance, I'm on to the next.
And also good with yourself. And I would even loop this back to our friendship. It's like, there is not anything that's coming to mind that for me, I would be like, this is friendship ending. Like, maybe we'll cross that fucking bridge when we get there. But like, there is nothing that like, I'm like, okay, like, we're going to be friends no matter what. We're going to go to the depths of hell. We're going to go through more shit, 100%. But like, that's a part of this.
There are things I could fathom would end the relationship, but there are not things I could fathom either of you doing.
Yeah, no.
If that makes sense.
Literally nothing comes to mind.
What are they?
You taking my man, like me walking in on you making out with my
husband.
husband.
The one good
Murdering
thing
my
about
mom.
about all of us is we do have very different tastes in men, and I think that's what makes us good friendships sometimes.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Like Josh is like my cousin. He's like my stinky little cousin.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever like competed for men.
No,
I don't think I've ever competed with a man.
Well, Madeline.
Well, these two are a different story than
we
this
don't have to
gal
bring that up
right
today.
We've
now.
had a couple cross lines, but we won't
those
go
ones
there.
crossed lines a lot in college.
that's just because I wanted to be Summer. I was actually just chasing Summer. just kissed my mic.
Erin, there you go. That's the comment.
It's Freudian.
Yeah. I was just chasing wanting to be with Summer. Still am.
She was chasing them titties. Quite frankly, I am as well.
Yeah.
And that's today.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling with that
I'll
desire.
show you them later, ladies.
Guys, do you have any closing
All right, what else
thoughts?
are we talking about today?
That's it. I think what I will say.
Oh, I'd like to say one more story whenever you get a chance.
I was going to say, and maybe we can pop this in at the end, is I think maybe we can reclaim the word difficult, or maybe push for the word to be assertive. I'm even okay with the word demanding. Like, I'm okay with demanding more from those around me, be they professional, personal, whatever it is. Even just looking at the podcast, right? Like, we expect things of each other. We expect drive, and we expect us all pursuing this thing together and taking this chance together. And, we're really lucky to have these friendships where we can, one of us can lag and we can all go and say, hey, what's going on? Hey, what are we doing? Hey, let's all get better. Hey, let's do more. Hey, I expect this of you. Hey, who's doing this? Hey, let's go and get this done. What's going on? And I'm lucky enough to have chosen friends in my life. You both like that. You both go, thanks for checking in. Thanks for getting on my ass. In the moment, it might not feel great, but you're like, I needed that.
We all rise to the occasion when it's presented to us.
And
we're also not afraid to convey that to each other.
Which is wonderful. And so we can all be assertive. We can all be demanding. And we're not looking at one another and saying, she's difficult, she sucks, I now hate her, she's no longer my best friend. You know what I mean? It's like, yep, I needed that kick in the ass. Thank you so much. And we respect each other and we love each other for expecting more of one another, or expecting everyone to be participants at the table.
Yeah.
And I think that it's okay to be that and be a woman and still be feminine and still be beautiful and desirable and whatever it is. You know, there is something to be said for cruel, nasty women, which is very much a thing, but to be assertive, to be demanding, to be someone who asks for more from others is okay.
And it's nothing to be ashamed of.
It is nothing to be ashamed of.
I do think a lot of that also, this is like just a closing thought, but comes from the person you are asking it of. And that's kind of the conversation we were having is, if you're setting a boundary saying, I expect this, I want this from you, I need more from you, them saying you're demanding too much, you're crazy, you're over the top, difficult, that's a them problem, because you're generally not ever asking anything ridiculous, and it's coming from a place of, I know I can't provide it for you, so I'm turning it back on you. And I think that's why this works, is like when we're checking each other, it's like, I know you can give me more and you're not, like, let's have a conversation about that. It's not a like, you fucking suck, you're not doing enough, step up. Like, that's cruel, that's being mean. It's us kind of saying like, hey, like, something's lacking here, like you said, let's talk about it, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's not being difficult, that's honestly being encouraging.
No, you're not difficult, you're just not easy to dismiss. And that is not something you should change about yourself, ever. You're a kick-ass human being and keep doing what you're doing. And the people who are supposed to be around you in any form or capacity will stay. And that is what matters.
Everyone you guys described was like, yeah, Sheyda, you're right. Like the cruel and mean factor is different from the difficult factor. And everyone you guys described, like J-Lo, Alex Cooper, who else do we talk about? J-Lo, Alex Cooper,
Ellen DeGeneres,
Martha Stewart,
Meghan
Ellen
Markle.
DeGeneres might be in the cruel
mean girl,
category.
yeah.
But the other three, Martha, Alex Cooper, and J-Lo, like their commonality is like they had a vision and no one was getting in the way. Like think about how big like their vision was. Yeah. And they were just like, no, I know what this is supposed to be. Get on board or get off.
I always say my train is moving, you're either on it or you're off. And it's not my job to convince you either way. So figure it out.
Yeah, I didn't ask you where we should be going. I just said, do you want on or not?
Yeah, the train already has a destination. I'd love for you to be on the train. If you're not willing to get into it or onto it or whatever, get the fuck out of my way. Get the fuck out of my way, because you're just going to get run over. And that's really hard for some people to digest, especially when it comes from a woman. But that's not my job to make you okay with.
Yeah.
Go find someone smaller.
My toxic trait is I want to be on everyone's train.
What do you...
I never want to be left off a train, please.
Yeah. I got a ticket.
Yeah, please. Okay, wait, Summer, I want to hear this story.
Okay, wait. One quick thing. What is something that you guys felt like was a difficult trait that you now appreciate? And I'll start. I feel like communication for me was really hard, especially when I was talking to those guys. I literally remember my mom, she snooped through my phone. Talk about snooping through phones. She snooped through my phone and she saw me texting this guy and I was like, yeah, man, I don't know if I'm feeling this. Like, yeah, it's this and that. And she was like, Summer, what the fuck are you doing? Tell him how you feel. And I was like, okay.
Oh, wow.
And from there, I literally was actually over the top communicative. I was like, I would like go on a date with a guy and I'd be like, yeah, this is, I really liked this about you, but truthfully, I do not see this going, blah, blah, blah. And I'd send these long paragraphs. And you know what? I felt like that became a trait that I appreciated about myself, like being overly communicated about what worked and what didn't work. How about you guys?
Mine, this is very new for me within the past like 3 years, but like my emotions and like how I feel, I'm like hot, cold, but I feel really deeply and can get wound up very easily. But I think as a kid, that's like truly what my family deemed as difficult, is like my emotional reactions. But now I think they're not like over the top. They're just like, I'm feeling so deeply about something. Yeah. Like I care so much. And to me, like I would rather care too much or like care very deeply about something than not care at all.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you? What's something that people labeled you as difficult or you thought was difficult and now you realize, no, I like that about me? Sheyda, this should be so easy for you.
I really don't know. Maybe my honesty. I think that I was dubbed oftentimes as mean, or like for example, and I'll take responsibility for some piece of this, and then I'll also not. Like when we became friends and you had your... Guys, the fact that I remembered that.
Wow. That's still
It
taking
just,
space
it just
up
came
there?
to my brain because I just flashed back into that
Wow.
time. But you were in your long distance, thank you, relationship with, and you were like trying to make things work, and I just looked at you and I go, this isn't gonna work, and it'll be okay. I don't think I said it as nice as I should have at all.
You never do.
I was going to say, sometimes with Sheyda, it's just the delivery. Like, she means well. It's the tone and the delivery that are never where they need to be.
And that's where I'm going to take responsibility now, is I think I said it in a way that was not nice. But I didn't mean it in a not nice way. I just was trying to get her, because I think she's also struggling. Like, you were having so much fun in your first year of college, and you were struggling with like how to maintain this relationship and this person you cared about, and also like experiencing the world for the first time really without a leash. And I just turned to you and I go, this isn't going to work. Like, it's not going to work. So you should figure that out sooner rather than later. And you were like, like, me and I will figure it out. Like, you don't understand. Like, we love each other. And I was like, and call me in 6 months.
Broke up with him a week later.
But I have always been the friend that has to deliver hard truths, or felt compelled to have to be honest about a hard truth when other friends would know or feel or think the same things that I was thinking and wouldn't be willing to convey that to the person. And it felt like a disservice to the friendship, or like I wasn't being loyal to them because I wasn't sharing with them the perspective that I saw that they weren't able to grasp or see in that moment. And I think I've had difficulty with that my whole life. And I think where I need to take responsibility is I didn't do it in the nicest way. And I think I've gotten better with that at this day and age in my life. But it's something that I love about myself now. But I struggled with, I think, a lot growing up because it made me feel like people didn't like me in the moments. Like, I felt compelled to say it, and I felt like in that moment I was being a friend, but it felt oftentimes it was being received as an enemy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're a bitch.
As an op.
All right. All right, here's my story, y'all. She was never... Okay, wait. If you know who I'm talking about, I want you to say it. Okay? Raise your hand if you think you know who I'm talking about.
Okay, wait. Let me get my card.
There's a couple of things that I think are going to, like, give it away. All right. This is about a difficult woman. She was never quiet, never soft, never easy to swallow. After a near fatal bus crash left her in a full body cast at 18, doctors said she'd be fragile for the rest of her life. Instead,
Sam knows.
do you know who it is? Can you whisper it to her? Don't say it yet. Okay, instead, she taught herself to paint and then set out to make the world feel her pain. Her canvases were unapologetically graphic. Blood, organs, miscarriages, heartbreak. The kind of art that made people feel uncomfortable. She wore her unibrow and mustache proudly, even exaggerated them in self-portraits, not because she didn't know how to tweeze, but because she refused to make herself more acceptable for anyone else. She spoke about communism, bisexuality, and female desire out loud in the 1930s.
Wow.
When women were expected to be silent, soft, and heterosexual. In a room full of intellectuals, she matched them. In a room full of men, she challenged them. And when she was married to one of Mexico's most famous painters, Diego Rivera, she still demanded to be recognized not as his wife, but as an artist in her own right. She smoked cigars, she drank old fashions, she wore suits, she made people uncomfortable by simply existing exactly as she was. Difficult is what they called her. But Frida Kahlo didn't want to be easy. She wanted to be true. And she was. Wow. Did you get it?
I did.
What did you say?
Well, here's our guesses.
Oh, what did you think?
Here's my guess.
What does that say?
Frida Kahlo.
Wow.
It says it.
Here's Sam's guess.
What's
This is
Sam?
really good.
Okay.
that she knows it's been hit by a bus.
As soon as you said unibrow, he was like, please don't write that down.
Did you think it was?
I got the paint. When you started talking about painting, that's when I got it.
I got unibrow.
Yeah.
I added old fashions there, by the way.
You know what? You did?
She ad-libbed that.
I've been called Frida Kahlo for years.
We have
Wait,
to insert the picture of Sheyda as Frida Kahlo. Please,
I will send it to you guys right now because it's hysterical.
send it
We have to
And
insert
also
it into the
podcast.
podcast.
Please do, no problem.
There was like an inside joke for so long of anytime we would see Frida Kahlo, we would just send Sheyda a picture and be like, oh my God, didn't know you'd be here. And she'd be like, stop, seriously, stop.
You know what? After hearing that, though,
She's a baddie.
She's a baddie.
She
bad
was the
bitch.
blueprint.
She's a baddie.
and you guys were right to associate me with her.
Yeah.
Facts. Guys, thank you for watching episode 13 of the And Also podcast. Stay sexy, stay difficult, stay
Stay
assertive.
Stay
hot.
driven. Stay hot. Stay unbothered by small minds. Love you. See you next time.
Mwah, 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 mwah.
Jesus, Summer.